it in here? Yeah, it is. Page 21.
So you're just gonna like talk through like how the kids come up and then as part of the service.
I'll call them at the times.
Yeah. That's what we did last time too, right?
But we want them all up there to start.
Yeah.
So,
You can do that.
All kids who are doing the opening song, come on up.
We have to bring up our seat.
Yes. They probably don't need it.
Yes. I'm going up, so you guys.
Come on, Jared. Jared.
Just needs to be all the way out.
I don't want to do
there you go.
I don't tolerate.
Don't slide on them.
Okay, seriously. I'm not getting
Good.
it. It's a running thing.
Who else is coming on up?
Run.
Come on up, everybody up.
Cherry.
Why not?
What do you call it?
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We are going to begin on page 1.
Everybody.
How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Shabbat Achim Gam Yahad. How great it is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day. Oh, E-O-O, E-O-O, E-O-O,
How great it is
for brothers and sisters to hang out on this lovely day.
How great
It is for brothers and sisters to hang out on this day.
How great it is
For brothers and sisters to hang out on this lovely day.
How great it is
For brothers and sisters to hang out on this day.
E-O-O,
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 E-O-O.
E-O-O.
Good job, everybody. Back to your seats. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, all right, hang on. We'll try that again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. It's much nicer to hear it that way. How great it is to hang out on this lovely day, this lovely Shabbat evening together. We are delighted to have this service to be led by our students and to take this special opportunity to appreciate our teachers. This is a particularly appropriate week in which to do so because in the Torah portion that we read this week, actually this week we read a double portion. There are some weeks where we combine 2 weeks of reading into 1 week. This tonight is one of those weeks. It happens periodically. But in the second of those portions, the portion called Kiddushim focuses on how we Jews are to be holy. And the first instruction that God tells Moses in this section that Moses should teach the Israelites is, revere your mother and your father and keep my Shabbat. So it's pretty obvious why maybe keeping Shabbat would be part about being holy. But what about honoring your mother and your father. Well, this too is a path to holiness, and a particularly good one to mention on a family Shabbat with so many mothers and fathers and their children here together. But it's even more appropriate for a Shabbat when we will honor and appreciate our teachers. Because whatever parents are supposed to be for a child, they are certainly the child's first and most important teachers. And the Hebrew language recognizes this relationship because the word for parent comes from the same root as the word for teacher. Parents and teachers are connected by language and by commitment to the child and by showing this pathway to holiness. So tonight, together, we revere our parents, we honor our teachers, and we keep Shabbat. So much Kiddushim, so much holiness together in this one service. We find our way to holiness together. And so we begin by lighting the Shabbat candles, led by our teachers, led by Jerry Robbins, our Director of Education. The blessing is on page 2 of the Siddur. There's also an old school match if you prefer. Thank you, teachers. Let's see. Now we call our 6th grade class back on up to lead us in Shalom Aleichem as we welcome the Shabbat angels of peace and joy on page 2. Oh, sorry, yes, and Sam, you're included also. Sorry, 7th grade as well. And, yes, and, yeah.
I'm 5th grade.
Sorry, and Emily, sorry, come on up. Oh, you're in the 6th grade class.
6th and 7th grade.
Sorry. It says 6th grade on the outline, but it's all of our Gesher students. Page 2.
Come on. More people get on there.
Not you. Not you. You're too tall. You? No.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei
continue on page 3 with one of the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, welcoming Shabbat, from Psalm 96, Ya'aloz Sadai.
Ya'aloz Sadai, B'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'aloz Sadai, B'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 as you run into Kol Hatzeyan, 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 Ya'aloz Sadai, B'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'aloz Sadai, B'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 as you run into Kol Hatzeyan, 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 Ya'aloz Sadai, B'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 Ya'aloz Sadai, B'kol asher bo Ya'aloz Sadai. Ay, 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 ay.
And now our 3rd and 4th graders will lead us. Yeah, oh, is it just you? All right, come on up. And Lecha Dodi on page 4 as we welcome the Shabbat bride.
We'll sing with you.
We'll help.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishlianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'tila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Hitorari, hitorari, ki ba'oret kumi ori, uri, uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, ובצולה תוכמוני אמסלולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לך דודי לקראת כלה לידי שבת לקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה לידי שבת לקבלה.
We stay standing as we turn to page 8 for Am I Awake, leading into Baruch Hu.
Yada-dai-dai-dai, 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 yada-dai-dai-dai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Do you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai Mevorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach, le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach, le'olam va'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai.
Call up all the rest of the students as we stay on page 8, celebrating God, thanking God for this beautiful world, this beautiful natural order of seasons and days and months and years that we enjoy. Roll into dawn. We continue with Shema on page 11.
Shema Yisrael Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha V'shinatam Levanecha V'dibarta B'ham V'shivtecha B'veitecha U'lechtecha B'derech U'shokmecha U'kumecha U'kshartam Le'ot Al Yadecha V'hayu Le'totafot Bein Einecha U'chtatam Al Mezuzot Beitecha U'visharecha Leman Tizkeru V'asitem et kol mitzvotai V'item kedoshim le'Elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim V'yot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem, amen.
On page 12, Mi Chamocha, our younger students can go back down. We are going to stay on page 12 with our evening prayer, asking for God to keep watch over us at night, guard us, restore us to life and peace in the morning.
Ashkireinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu leChaim Ashkireinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu leChaim Ushmor Tzeiteinu Uvoeinu Lechaim Shalom Me'ata ve'ad olam Ashkireinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu Tafidenu Malkeinu Lechaim.
On page 13, the children of Israel will keep Shabbat Vishamru.
Vishamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam B'Ridolam Vishamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat Lasot et HaShabbat Ledorotam B'Ridolam Beini ubein bnei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, lasot et HaShabbat ledorotam b'Ridolam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru bnei Yisrael et hashabat lasot et hashabat ledorotam b'Ridolam. Ubayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Vishamru bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat lasot et HaShabbat ledorotam b'Ridolam.
We invite our older students to come on back up to lead us in the Amidah, which begins in the middle of page 13. Please rise.
Adonai Sofatai Tifta Ufia Gitehilatecha. Adonai Sofatai Tifta Ufia Gitehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El HaGadol, HaGibor v'HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'kodei HaKol, V'zocher Kasdei Avot, U'mevii Gomel Lifnei Pneihem, L'ma'an Shemo Le'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Chokeinu Mashiach U'Mayim. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, U'Fokei Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mekayem Mitim Atav Rav V'Hoshia. Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mekayem Mitim B'Rachamim. Somech Noflim B'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, B'Shenei Afar, Nichamocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'Mino Melech, Melech Memit U'Mechayem, U'Mashiach Yeshua, V'Ne'emanat Al HaChayot. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekayem HaMetim.
We take a few moments now for our own personal private prayers. We can look inside ourselves to our own hearts and our own souls. When you've had as much time as you'd like, you may be seated. We invite all of our younger students to come back up to help us lead Oseh Shalom on page 16. And now we stay on page 16 as we turn our hearts to our loved ones and friends who are ill, those who are struggling physically or spiritually or emotionally. Tonight in our congregational family, we think particularly of Phyllis Burke, Arthur Campbell, Phyllis Dillon, Jane Dunlap, Harriet Flashenberg, Valerie Frank, Jonathan Gardner, David Glazer, Robert Gordon, Mike Kamens, Cheryl Leahy, Nancy Mayer, Jonathan Panasuk, Mark Panasuk, Walter Petrish, Gail Rosenberg, Joseph Roth, Michael Schreiber, Tal Schechter, Cindy Sherman, Elaine Swartz, Marcia Zeidman, Yonina bat David HaKohen v'Sarah, Esther bat Chaim v'Goldi, Fegi bat Shlomo Nisan Halevi. If there's someone for whom you are particularly concerned tonight who is in your prayers, I invite you to say that person's name aloud now. hold them all in our hearts as we join in Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
A few moments ago, our older students led us in chanting Ve'ahavta, and the last words of that section make an interesting and important point. The words are, Ani Adonai Elohechem, I am Adonai your God, Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, Lihiot lachem le'Elohim, to be your God. These words from the Torah show us that the Israelites' freedom from Egypt takes place in a larger context. Many times the Torah reminds us that God brought us out of the land of Egypt, but only rarely is that all that the Torah says about it. Usually, as in this case, the Torah tells us why God took that action. God didn't free the Israelites from Egypt just because they were working too hard, although they were. Not because their lives were too difficult, although they were. Instead, the Torah tells us that God brought the Israelites out of the land of Egypt to be your God, lihiot lachem Elohim, to be your God. The Israelites weren't free just for the sake of being free, but for the sake of their relationship with God, the covenant that would connect them. And so the climax of the Passover story, the point of the Passover story, is not just the crossing of the Sea of Reeds, which the Israelites celebrated with a song that includes the words of Mi Chamocha, which our students also sang. Rather, the story culminates when they get to Mount Sinai, in the revelation, when God gives them the Torah and we enter into that covenant. Acceptance of the covenant, with all of its responsibilities and privileges, is the fulfillment of our freedom that started in Egypt. And our calendar reinforces this connection. Starting in Passover, on the second day of Passover, we are told to start counting the Omer, a period of 7 weeks of reflection. At the end of this time, on the 50th day, we will celebrate the holiday of Shavuot, which we call Zman Matan Toratenu, the time of the giving of our Torah. The giving of the Torah is the foundation of the covenant between the Jewish people and God. But even though we celebrate it on that day, on Shavuot, the giving of Torah is not a one-time, one-day-a-year event. In truth, Torah is given every day. As we chanted again in Ve'ahavta near the beginning, V'shinantam levanecha, you shall teach them to your children. But not only to your children, to all your students of every age. Every day, wherever students learn, wherever teachers teach, Torah is given, Torah is transmitted, and Judaism and the Jewish people grow and are strengthened. That's the focus of our congregation. Whatever else we may be, a place for religious celebrations and life cycle events, a social center for the Jewish community, an advocate and participant in repairing the world, our mission centers on education, helping Jews learn and live and love Judaism. And the people who engage most deeply in making sure that charge is fulfilled are our teachers. Their tremendous dedication and devotion leads them to give their time and energy inside the classroom and out. They plan and execute creative and engaging lessons, building toward enduring understandings that will remain with our students in the years to come. The wisdom and beauty and meaning of Jewish tradition come to life in their hands, in your hands, inspiring and challenging our students to make that tradition their own. It is our teachers who make the continued flourishing of Judaism possible by instilling it in the next generation. So tonight, we express our profound appreciation to all of the teachers in our school. We are blessed with a talented and committed staff, about whom we will say some more in just a few moments. But right now, I say to each of you, thank you for making it possible for us to fulfill V'shinantam Levanecha. Thank you for teaching our children. Thank you for inspiring our community. We are truly grateful to you for all that you do and for all that you are. And so now it is my pleasure to call on Jerry Robbins, our Director of Education, for the next part of our appreciation.
So forgive me for the mask this evening. I'm at the tail end of a cold, and so I'm going to take it off now, but I'm going to put it back on, just so you can hear me. Probably a little better that way. As Rabbi Ken mentioned, this week's Torah portion is Achrei Mot Kedoshim, and it's full of commandments. It teaches us to care for the poor, to be honest, and never to take revenge or hold a grudge. We're told how to guard relationships, how to treat our animals, and how to harvest our fields, as well as being instructed about when and how to offer sacrifices. You know, you guys do that all the time, right? No? Not anymore? Damn, darn. That joke fell flat. Pardon let me get back into what I'm being serious about. We're told to keep Shabbat and what we're allowed to eat. This portion contains what Rabbi Akiva tells us is the core message of the Torah, Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, to love your fellow as yourself. If there's one core passage that generations of Jews have sought to understand and to live by, this would be it. And of course, it's one of the things we strive to teach our students here at Temple Chai Shalom in all of our educational programs, from the youngest to the oldest people we reach. However, if we read this portion only as rules for behavior, we might miss the chance to reflect on the kadosh aspect, the holiness. Another of the central mitzvot, our sacred obligations of our tradition, is Kedoshim Tihiyu ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. We translate kadosh as holy, but what does this holy mean? And what does it mean to be holy? The Hebrew word kadosh conveys being set apart for a special purpose, but there's also a more expansive way to understand this word. As my colleague Rabbi Audrey Berkman writes, to be holy means to live with the awareness that you are connected to all of creation, to every individual, to every living thing, to everything that ever was, is, and will be, that you are an essential part of a sacred wholeness, that what you do, your choices, your words, your deeds have far-reaching impact, that you are a necessary part of this universe, and that you are responsible to others with whom you share this world and to those who came before and will come after you. I understand the command to be holy as one that encompasses within it the essence of all of the other commandments. All of them, no matter how seemingly mundane, minute, or ordinary, are there to remind us of our connection to and our responsibility for one another. Ultimately, they are there to remind us that we are not alone. Each of our teachers takes this responsibility very seriously, and I would believe that we see it in their creativity, their commitment, their loyalty, and their devotion to our community. On behalf of all of the communities that you have touched this year and through the years, I express sincere gratitude to Tammy Kessler, who's not with us tonight because she's also home nursing a cold, to Karen Swartz, to Julie Howard, to Ann Slovin, and to Sherry Spillane, who also was unable to be with us. I would also like to acknowledge and express our appreciation to our graduating seniors, Jillian Hanley and Jessie Colchimero. Jillian and Jessie have served as madrichim, or classroom aides, in Sulam throughout their high school years, getting up on Sunday mornings to volunteer with our students, including through the pandemic on Zoom. They've helped with art projects, with cooking, with lessons, and whatever the teachers ask them to do. Your contributions make a difference each week, and we will miss our graduating seniors and express our gratitude again to each of our teachers. I'd also like to thank Denise Morgan, our dedicated school administrator, who assisted teachers and me with prepping projects and administrative tasks, and the education committee led the past 3 years by Alicia Dancy. Alicia, there you are. I feel so blessed to be a part of the staff that gets to foster this community and appreciate the support of Rabbi Ken and of David, the efforts of Meryl Livingston, our administrator, and the leadership of the board. Aileen Newton has been teaching our Young Explorers classes this year, and it has been really wonderful to be able to offer that program after a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic. This year, we have worked to lift up the idea of Kahila Kadosha, a holy community, in song, and as you'll hear at the end of our service, and indeed, we follow these mitzvot and transmit it to the next generation. I'd like to invite Alicia Dancy to come up and offer her remarks to thank our teachers.
Shabbat Shalom. I will be brief. I just want to say thank you so much to all of our teachers, to all of our Sulam and Gesher staff, and to, of course, our Madrahim. So, Education Committee, we have some gifts for you. They are sort of size specific, so I will pass them out to you, and then we can just hold on to the ones that are not here, and they can get them on Sunday. So this one is for David, and you're welcome, Jesse. And what's your name, this one? Sherry. And Julie. And Karen.
I also want to acknowledge Alicia, who is not going anywhere, but she is moving on from the Education Committee. So special thanks and gratitude for your support, your friendship, your encouragement, and your help while I have navigated this role over the last 3 years. So thank you.
While we are appreciating, I just want to note, Jerry made the joke about the sacrifices that are mentioned in the Torah portion that we don't do anymore and didn't get a laugh. But I think the reason that it didn't get a laugh is that it's not that we don't make sacrifices anymore. And so we don't make the sacrifices at the temple anymore, but I want to appreciate all of the sacrifices that our families do make. It is not so easy all the time to have this commitment to education that our families show. So I particularly want to express my gratitude to our families for their sacrifices and trusting us with this part of the education of your students. I want to acknowledge and appreciate the sacrifices that our teachers make every day, every minute of every day. And so I think that the sacrifices are a big part of the way that we are able to do what we do. We wouldn't be able to do this without so many sacrifices. So thank you, everybody, for all of your sacrifices.
And I'd like to express my appreciation to all of the teachers and all of the education staff, especially Jerry and Rabbi Ken and all of you, through an English interpretation of the most traditional Jewish prayer for honoring teachers, Kaddish de Rabbanan. This is a version of Kaddish just as Mourner's Kaddish and Chatzi Kaddish are versions of Kaddish that has traditionally been said after doing some learning. And there's an insertion, in addition to the words that we're most used to in Kaddish, that is about appreciation for our teachers. So here is this version by Debbie Friedman in honor of our staff. For our teachers and their students and the students of the students, we ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. And for those who study Torah here and everywhere, may they be blessed with all they need, and let us say ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, and let us say Amen. We ask for peace and loving kindness, let us say Amen.
We now turn back to our Sidurim, to page 23, for kind of a version of Aleinu, or at least a song that shares the themes of Aleinu, of looking towards one better day to come.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose when they feed on the souls of the innocent. Blood-drenched pavement, keep on moving though the waters stay raging. In this maze you can lose your way, your way. It might drive you crazy, but don't let it phase you, no way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. One day this all will change, treat people the same. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. One day we'll all be free and proud to be under the same song, singing songs of freedom like one day, one day, one day, one day. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day.
As we prepare for Kaddish, we recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. Tonight, our hearts especially go out to Nancy Peel and her family, and to Hannah Thomas and her family. Nancy's mother, Marcia Zeidman, was laid to rest this past week. Hannah's father, Ralph Goldberg, died Wednesday evening. His funeral will be in Florida, and there will be a Shiva gathering at Hannah's house this coming Thursday evening. Our congregational family also remembers with special affection our loved ones whose yahrzeit will occur this coming week. Stanley Cashman, uncle of Carol Whalen. Phyllis Kay, mother of Rhonda Spiegel. Lena Rader, great-grandmother of Molly Miller. Rose Schloss, sister of Sandra Glazer. Eli Reingold, father of Chuck Reingold. Bruce Rubin, father of Lori Powers. Manuel White, father of Adele Miller. If you're remembering someone this evening, we invite you to say that person's name aloud now.
Martin Rothberg.
Zichronam livracha. May the memories of all our dear ones be a blessing. If you're saying Kaddish in someone's memory tonight, we ask you to rise now. In loving support of the mourners, we rise as a congregation. In gratitude to God for the gift of the lives of their loved ones, Those who are in mourning and those remembering someone, say Kaddish, which is on page 18. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, b'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayeichon uvyomeichon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach l'olam u'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata d'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all of the bereaved. And we say, amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Marty, is it you? Okay. It's my pleasure to call on Marty McIntosh to share some announcements. We need work on our choreography.
Shabbat Shalom. Torah study tomorrow with Rabbi Carr at 9 a.m. with bagels and coffee in person or remote. Havdalah service tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Tickets are still available for the $5,000 cash raffle and comedy night next Saturday at Thorny Lee Golf Club in Brockton. Great odds, only half the tickets have been sold. Next Sunday, May 7th, 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Young Explorers, a party to celebrate Israel's 75th birthday. 1:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. 11:30, that feels better. 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mitzvah Day. Complete information in your weekly emails and flyers are available in the Temple foyer. Join us on Friday night, May 12th, for Rockin' Shabbat Eve at 6:30 p.m. Remember, information and links to all activities are included in your weekly emails on Mondays, as well as special notices. That's it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Marty. And there's one other thing you could have gotten that you could have said here, and that is that Jerry mentioned that Alicia is moving on from chairing the Education Committee. Who's taking your place as the chair of the Education Committee? Marty is. So thank you, Marty, for stepping up to leading this committee and this community in our educational endeavors. All right, I think we're calling our kids back up for these songs, right? Yeah, we are. All right, so we have a couple of different closing kinds of songs that we're going to do tonight. They're songs that that have been part of our Sulam experience all year on Sunday mornings. So on page 21, first of all, we find Hatikva, the national anthem of the State of Israel. This week we marked Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. It's the 75th anniversary of the founding of the State of Israel, and so it is appropriate for us to join together in Hatikva. So all our Sulam students, come on up. And I'll invite everybody to rise. And folks, we're going to turn around because the flag of Israel is inside the ark, so we're going to face in that direction. Come seated. And we come back to our handouts. Jerry mentioned, of course, that this week is Kedoshim, focusing on holiness, and one of the themes of our Sulam year has been Kehillah Kedosha, being a holy community. And this song has been, in a way, our anthem of the year. So from Israel's national anthem to our school song of the year, Kehillah Kedosha.
If you are a town, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a town, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha. Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha. Lai, 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 lai. Oh, lai, 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 lai. Each one of us must play a part. Each one of us must keep the call. Each one of us must seek the truth. Each one of us is a part of it all. Each one of us must remember the pain. Each one of us must find the joy. Each one of us, each one of us. Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha. Each one of us must start to hear. Each one of us must sing the song. Each one of us must do the work. Each one of us must right the wrong. Each one of us must build the home. Each one of us must hold the home. Each one of us, each one of us. Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha. It's how we help. It's how we give. It's how we pray. It's how we heal. It's how we live. It's how we help. It's how we give. It's how we pray, it's how we heal, it's how we live. If you are a town, then when it's Nitzavim, we stand here today and remember the dream. If you are a town, then we're Nitzavim. We stand here today and remember the dream. Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha, Kehillah, Kedosha.
As we mentioned earlier, we are in the Omer period on this journey from Egypt to Sinai, and in our school moving towards this revelation of Torah, this ongoing giving of Torah. We are led not as the Israelites were by Moses, but by Jerry Robbins. And so we also want to express our deep appreciation to you, Jerry, for your leadership of the school of Sulam, of our educational thought processes, helping us to keep on going and bring great meaning and moments of deep understanding and connection to our community and our kids. So thank you. So the counting of the Omer is on the back side, the page with Kaddish D'Rabbanan. We are moving on to the next day of our journey tonight. So first we're going to say the blessing for counting the Omer, and then we're actually going to count it. I'm going to ask you to rise once more, because on this journey from Egypt to Sinai, it goes better if we're standing, if we walk better when we're upright. So let's say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. And now we are ready to count. Hayom shlosha ve'esrim yom shehem shlosha shavuot u'shnei yamim la'omer. Today is 23 days, which are 3 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. You may be seated. On page 20 of the Siddur, Kiddush. And we'll say Kiddush, then we'll call the students back up for Motzi, and then we will enjoy an oneg in the multipurpose room. Thank you, everybody who brought food for the oneg tonight.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshan b'mitzvotav v'ratavanu Shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemase v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha b'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. All right, students, come on back up. The good thing of being up here is you get first dibs on the challah.
Yay.
Bailey, you coming? Are we waiting for you or no? No? All right. All right. Ready, everybody? Chad, Shtayim, Shalosh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you again to our teachers. Thank you to our parents. Thank you to our students. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Go eat.
Me too. Welcome. What, Jared?
Show up.
Your dad was on the list last night. I should have realized tonight.
It's actually yard sale is Friday, today.
Today.
Yeah.
So our system, as you know, is the coming week. So
You get big piece.
Friday's always confusing about that. Shabbat shalom, Ella.
What's that?
That's my present.
That's her present.
Very much appreciated.
Hap, what does it say? Hap?
Happy, something
So-
happy. Is there more, I guess?
I don't know, but, but anyway, you are the best, so.